A group of families is putting the final touches on their Halloween costumes and gearing up for a night of trick-or-treating in northern Queens.
I hope we have fun, because I'm excited. I love candy.
Brianna Ondan doesn't have a costume, but that doesn't stop her from collecting a stash of goodies.
I can't wait to get home and eat all of this.
For 12-year-old Brianna and her mother Holly, this is home. For tonight, the Westway Motel on Astoria Boulevard. Brianna and Holly Ondan, and the other families with them, are homeless. They were bused here by the Department of Homeless Services in what has become a daily ritual for many homeless families who aren't even allowed to call a shelter home.
I carry bags every day because you have to walk with your change of clothes or shoes and, your toiletries and everything.
Holly's problems began when she and Brianna's father split. Then she lost her job as a legal secretary, then lost her apartment.
If you live in paycheck to paycheck, that's how it is. One paycheck. You lose your job, you don't find a job within a month or 2 months, and you can be homeless. But none but a clothes on your back, no roof over your head.
They moved in with a friend, only to discover that her wild lifestyle was unhealthy for a 12-year-old. Mother and daughter were forced onto the street, which is when they came here, to PATH, the Prevention Assistance and Temporary Housing Office. Every homeless family in New York City looking for shelter must come to this building in the South Bronx. It is here that their fate is decided. After an initial 10-day investigation, they will either be given a place in a shelter and a spot on a waiting list for assisted housing, or they will hear the dreaded word ineligible, which means the department thinks they are not truly in need because they have an alternative place they can live.
If you have a place where you would say you could stay that they deem suitable, then you're out of luck.
As the pastoral assistant at a church near PATH, Gloria Cruz sees a lot of these ineligible families who only qualify for overnights and must spend their days at the PATH offices, reapplying for placement in a shelter.
It's a vicious cycle. What they do is they keep them there all day till maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. They put them to go to sleep. Then they wake them up again at 5 to start the cycle all over again because an overnight is only for one night.
You cannot have a full-time job doing this. And that's what they don't understand. If you have a place, like if we were in a shelter, at least you know where you're going every night.
Holly and Brianna have been doing overnights since early September. They were denied placement in a shelter because DHS says they can go back to Holly's friend's apartment. Holly maintains the friend doesn't want them anymore. But they're still luckier than some. On October 12th, the city imposed even tougher restrictions on families seeking overnight shelter to stop what they call abuse of the system. So some families are now being found ineligible for overnights because the city insists they do have somewhere else to go. At one point, a group of families was sleeping under scaffolding directly across from the PATH offices. But for families found ineligible by PATH, there was an alternative to sleeping outside in the elements. Here, in the basement of St. Anne's Episcopal Church in the Bronx, just blocks away from the PATH offices, several families slept on beds just like this. They're made out of church pew cushions. St. Anne's is the church where Gloria Cruz works. She admits that some do abuse the system, but insists that all should not be punished for the sins of a few. She's particularly sympathetic. She herself was homeless for 2 years after a fire destroyed her home.
I was dragging 2 kids around with suitcases from place to place to place to place, and it's not a good feeling. You get defeated, dehumanized, and you feel terrible because you can't give a safe place for your kids.
Holly says that her friend's apartment was not safe for her child, and if DHS had thoroughly investigated, they would have seen that.
People who they are denying are people who are really in need. So they need to do more investigating, basically.
For tonight, at least, Brianna is safe and happy with the spoils of trick-or-treating. But the grueling cycle of overnights is taking a toll on the 6th grader. She is exhausted, and her teacher gets angry when she falls asleep in class. But no one at school knows about her situation.
I don't want to tell them because I'm afraid they might laugh at me or something. Because, you know, how everybody says homeless people are bums and stupid. I don't want them to think that I'm that.
According to the Department of Homeless Services, the number of homeless families in New York is decreasing, which it says is evidence that the system is working. Andrea Mustaine, Columbia Television News.